573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Wednesday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey, Brendan Schaefer here. Lots to get to, including a intriguing Mizzou men's basketball game tonight. Who you got between the Tigers and the Golden Gophers of Minnesota? We'll discuss at 5:25. We'll update our SEC football tiers at 5:05. But some Mizzou football talk as always. Brendan, there were some lengthy and I think important comments from one Eli Drinkwitz on Tiger Talk last night, which I think you might agree. Pretty important
notable
stuff. Yeah.
Some notable comments to get into that I think it's worth our time to discuss in the landscape that we're in right now.
So if you missed Tiger Talk last night on KTGR, don't worry. We'll play some of that audio and a good amount of it from what Eli Drinkwitz was kind of responding to when it came to playoff or bust mentality or not being able to win big games. Well, he had a lot of words to say about those things. So at 4:05, we'll have more on that. And we want you to let us know what you think on this too at 875-KTGR. Predictions for the final 3 games of the regular season for Mizzou football. Got Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Arkansas left. How will they do? What is your prediction for the remainder of the season? We'll have our predictions. You can send in yours with a call or a text at 573-875-KTGR. Also with a comment on our YouTube channel. We're live right now, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. Subscribe if you don't already. We're also live on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Yeah, interesting hoops game for tonight as Mizzou men's basketball takes on Minnesota. It's their first Power 5 matchup of the season. Tigers beat Minnesota in a thrilling comeback win a couple of years ago, and now this is the return trip as Dennis Gates looks to get his team to 4-0 on the season after defeating VMI on Sunday. Also a big day, not just for Mizzou men's basketball, but across all the programs except for football, because today is the first day of the early signing period for high school recruits for the class of 2026. And, well, Dennis Gates did pretty well. 24/7 Sports ranks his recruiting class as number 2 in the country. ESPN ranks them as number 1. 2 5-stars in there, Jason Crow Jr. and Tony Bryant, a 4-star in Chronister. All locked in, it would seem, for next year. That is the Big Show's big deal on this 12th day of November 2025. You can call or text us here at 573-875-KTGR. It looks like the news on that from the reports, 2 are official today. Both Tony Bryant and Aiden Chronister officially have signed today. Jason Crow has not yet. It appears that will happen tomorrow morning, that he'll have his official ceremony. Just needed to move it one day, I suppose.
Right. That's just when they, I think, scheduled the ceremony. Nothing more than that.
Exactly. So we should expect by this time tomorrow that Mizzou men's basketball's 3-man 2026 recruiting class that is ranked no lower than, I'm sure, by most publications, 3 or 4 in the country. It's darn good.
Yeah.
So
they've got 2 guys that are considered by some to be 5-star players, whatever that may mean to you. That's notable. I don't know. Are they 100% done? Would they take a big if they? I know there was one recently that they were interested in. He chose another.
Yeah, that was Tristan Reed.
I think he went Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, I don't know for sure that you'd say they're done with the 3, but I guess there's a lot of unknown there with the way that the rest of the season plays out and who's coming back, how many scholarships, those sorts of things. But yeah, certainly a lot to be excited about with that recruiting class and getting 2 of the 3 locked in. And then tomorrow we'll be here 24 hours from now when we figure telling you that, yeah, Jason Crow Jr. is signed as well.
So that's exciting stuff. And we'll talk more about this year's men's team and how they're getting things started and how they'll try to get what could be a pretty interesting victory against Minnesota should they come by it at 5:25. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. But if you were listening last night on 105.1 and 1580 during Tiger Talk at 7 p.m., Eli Drinkwitz had a lot to say when it came to a recent talk responding to a lot of criticism about what this season is actually representing. Can Mizzou get it done in big games? Is this a disappointment because once again, you're close, but you're not quite to playoff territory? Playing this out of order, let's go to the playoffs or bust mentality that Eli Drinkwitz was responding to, at least, and saying that, look, like, it's not just the playoffs that you play for. Yes, it is one of the things that you do play for, but there's still a lot more. And here's Eli Drinkwitz talking about that.
I know we got a chance this week to play for a rock and play for the seniors. And there's always something to play for. I talked about this in the SEC Media Days, okay? We got to get out of this. Oh, man, it's playoffs or bust. Yes, again, we're shooting for the moon. We're going to put our whole self into that. But only 12 teams make the playoffs, and we put ourselves in position in November to be there. Okay, didn't get it done. I got that. But if the season only counts for 12 football teams, and we got 127 Division I playing football teams, that math's not going to math very well. That math's not going to math very well, okay? Football is more than just the playoff potential. And, again, we were there. We were there. We didn't get it done. But, you know, there's a whole heck of a lot to be proud of. There's a whole heck of a lot to play for. Again, when I took over, we didn't go to a bowl game. We had NCAA probation, all right? And ever since then, we've been going to a bowl game. And, you know, there's a lot of programs right now that would trade us spots. I had a coach text me today. Said, Coach, there's a lot of programs in the country that would trade for the number of wins your team has. And that's a perspective that most people don't have.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
You know, just keep on fighting, keep on believing, and we're going to get ourselves back there. We're going to bust through. Didn't happen so far, but you know what? Then don't discourage me any.
So that was the response to, well, what is there left to play for? And look, like said yesterday, or was it yesterday, maybe a couple days ago, like, it is very easy to motivate your group, I think, from Eli Drinkwitz's standards, to be ready for the final 3 games and play your best for the final 3 games. It's your senior day coming up, and then it's 2 rivalries. One at Oklahoma, you can win there for the first time since the 60s. Like, that would be notable. So
that'd be huge,
right? And then obviously the game against Arkansas, however people feel about the rivalry, who cares? Like, it's still something you're playing.
You better get fired
way,
up for
right?
that game, because that offense will eat you up if you're not ready for that game. So
exactly. I think that's kind of where that was coming from, a lot from Drinkwitz, but it's also kind of the larger discussion of, look, yes, everybody shoots for the playoffs. It was a realistic thing that Mizzou could strive to get this year. They came up short, but it doesn't matter that, or it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to throw everything out from what this season did.
yeah, I mean, I've seen some varying reaction to this online, and the quotes, some of which made circulation. And then Mizzou football account made sure to tweet out the video earlier today. Notice that. Some people say, well, yeah, Drink is completely right in what he is saying here. And, like, there is more to what a meaningful season could be besides the playoffs, right? Like, it used to be before a couple of years ago, only 4 teams were really going to have a chance to be in that. And before that, you had the BCS era. Only 2 teams were getting in the thing. So, like, it's a rarity for how many teams. He said 127. I think there's 135 or 6 or whatever it is, D1 or FBS programs. Like, yeah, for the vast majority, that's not going to be your result. And so does that thus mean that the season was meaningless? What I do think is disappointing is that it's early November, and we know already that, you know, Mizzou didn't reach that goal. Sometimes there's value to really being able to string that along and say, man, it comes down to the very wire and you don't make it, then, you know, that's certainly maybe more disappointing because you felt like it was within your grasp. But I think for Mizzou to fall out of the, you know, CFP top 25 before you've got 3 games to play it's disappointing for sure. But and you would accuse, some would say, well, he's moving the goalposts, the way that it was taken. And I know some publications made a nice special graphic out of it, like they often do, and you know, make it look like one thing when really his full context was maybe not delivering the message that little snippet might detail when you put his face on a graphic. And the people run wild with the bold text. Something about that rubs you wrong, and I think it rubbed Drink wrong today, which is understandable. But it's one of those things too where you look at it and you're like, man, if they don't move the goalpost, what is he supposed to say? Is he supposed to say, yep, we're done. Don't bother showing up for the last 3 games.
Right.
Fans, team, don't bother. Like, there's got to be an element of sanity to this where, yes, the goalposts are moved inherently, but that's because we know the result now. Like, Mizzou fell short of it. And so what are you going to do? You got to rally the team and say, guys, this is what's still in front of us, or are you going to just kind of pack it in? I don't believe Eli Drinkwitz is the type to just pack it in. So he is, as he does as a master motivator, sharing the way that you can get fired up. But what did you make of maybe the number of references to the future in that speech? Because that was last night on Tiger Talk. This just happened. Right. This is post A&M game. This is in the middle of, people thinking that he's leaving to go to another. Like, everything is still out there. There's a lot of references to what we're doing with the Rock M and to what we're doing with, there was a lot of that last night.
And I only played a little bit of it. Here's the rest of it. This is the longer answer that he gave, kind of unprompted of like, I've heard a lot of takes about the big game stuff and everything. This was Eli Drinkwitz on all of that.
I know there's been a lot of different takes out there over the last 2 years. We haven't been able to beat some of these teams. The one thing I'll just remind everybody, to go from good to great, that's the hardest challenge. To make that next 6-inch jump, man, that's the toughest challenge there is. And so for us, we got to find those margins. As a coaching staff, as players, we got to go continue to, hey, how do we make that next jump? And part of that next jump, we made a jump a couple years ago when we built this new indoor to match. We're the furthest north playing school in the SEC. We didn't have an indoor. So we got that. And now the university has said, you know what? We need to match what everybody else is doing facility-wise. So we're going to build you a $250 million north end zone. So we're doing the things that we need to do. Now we've got to continue to, hey, how do we maximize rev share? How do we maximize third party? How do we get a roster that is equivalent to the rest of those rosters in the SEC? And we're pushing like crazy to do it. So what I want to encourage everybody is, instead of getting negative about it, instead of pointing fingers and blaming, again, I'll take all the blame. That's my job as the head coach. But what we need to do is all push and find, hey, how do we go good to great? And let's not throw out the baby for the bathwater. Let's not get discouraged. I'm reminded, there's a story about the rock cutter. Mm-hmm. And when you're cutting a rock, you got to sit there and pound the rock. And it's not going to break on the first blow. It might break on the 99th blow, but it's not the 99th blow that did it. It's all the ones before that. And so, hey, you know what? We've come up short a few times. That doesn't discourage me a bit. Our team's going to keep responding and keep fighting. We're going to keep putting ourselves in those opportunities until we break through. And you know what? At Missouri, we haven't broke through a lot. That's just our past history. Doesn't scare us a bit. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep getting up off that mat. We're going to keep going and approaching it and attacking it. So, I don't worry about all that stuff, but I want to encourage our recruits, our fans, our true fans, and our team. Man, I'm proud of you. I don't get discouraged by that stuff. I'm proud of us. And the way those guys practiced this afternoon, man, I was proud of them because, they're hurt. They're disappointed. And I know fans are too. But those are the guys laying it on the line. They're the ones that could be, oh, shucks, no. Those guys practice hard today on Toughness Tuesday, and they want to lay it on the line for each other on Saturday.
So, that was a lot more of how Drinkwitz felt about really just the fallout of the last few days and coming off the A&M game and everything like that.
And there was plenty in there about the team now, the way they're practicing for this game this weekend. But there was a lot more earlier in the clip about very much forward-facing issues and topics. You don't tell the story of the rock cutter if you're not, like, is it crazy for me to say that? You don't tell that story if you're not really putting yourself in a place mentally of this being the place where you're eventually going to break through. Like, James
texting in didn't sound like Drink is going anywhere from what I heard last night.
It didn't. Yeah. So what do we make of this? Because again, earlier this week, you were like, you know what? It's coin toss. It could happen. It could not. We don't know. We don't have any idea. And I was a little more pessimistic. Drink told me not to be so negative. You know what? I can get over the negativity of a loss to Texas A&M. I could say, gosh, dang it. We tried. We're not on their level this year. He talks about that 6-inch jump going from good to great. And we're not there yet with the program. There's a lot in place of infrastructure and resources and momentum to suggest that we can get there. And he's talking to fans and saying, like, let's pull in that direction. He's talking to players. He's talking to, I think, administration. I think he's talking to boosters. I think he doesn't say things without a reason, guys. Like, I mean, this is all kind of part of that. But does he sound so? I mean, I guess he could. He's brilliant at this, Andy. We've said for years, like, he is a brilliant talker, communicator, in terms of like crafting a public message. He is as good as it gets. And so he's crafting a message. He is painting you a picture right there, Mizzou fans. Now, I want nothing more than to believe it with my full heart and be like, let's bleep and go. Like, this is still only the beginning. We're going from good to great here at Missouri. It's just it's tricky because we know how hard some of these schools are going to be pushing for this coach because of the job he's done here. And until there's that, that announcement on the dotted line of, he's gotten the assurances he needs for NIL. He knows that the resources are going to be there to build it here, and he doesn't have to look for greener pastures. Like, to me, I read that is a speech to look at whatever it is that he still thinks he needs, and he needs the assurances of the people that have the ability to give it to him. And I checked my bank account today. I do not. I am not among those people.
Right.
But those who are, I think it's partially to paint those people a picture, because I think this Penn State stuff and this coaching carousel stuff is real, but it's not real in a way that it's been determined. But I think if you're Eli Drinkwitz, like, you want it to happen here. I think he's genuine with that. But, like, does he have to paint a picture for people a little bit and say, what's happening that we're not going to see how the sausage is made on this is like, he talked a lot in that Tiger Talk last night about getting the roster and getting the roster means that NIL and getting that assurance. So I don't hear that and think this is a guy who's about to leave. But I also know that I think he's painting a picture as well for those that have the ability to make sure that his vision can come to fruition here. Am I crazy for the read on that?
No, you're not crazy. It's a picture that he's painting that if in the event that he leaves, it becomes so much more of a dagger after hearing a lot of that. Because again, it is putting fans, I'm sure, on board. Maybe ones that were a little bit anxious about how the last few weeks have gone and saying, like, I don't know. But no,
those people, for the people that are like, they lose to A&M and they say, oh, Drink can stay, he can go. Those people might need to hear, like, hey,
they are the ones that needed to hear that
probably, but they're not the ones that make the impact ultimately.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to make a decision based on other things. And that's a vision that was painted where you can believe in the vision that he's putting out there. Like, it's very convincing, and I believe him that he's genuine. I also would agree with you. If it ends up going the other way, that's a hell of a tactic. That's a hell of a thing to say last night. If even in like the far reaches of your mind, you can always go back later and say, well, I didn't know all this.
But you're
was
also
coming. I had no idea.
You are trying to galvanize your group for the last.
You're galvanizing
a
lot of different people.
No matter what, galvanizing fans, galvanizing your team, and you still have to fulfill your jobs through the rest of the season, and then you evaluate, see what your future holds, and then you move on from there. So maybe if those were the words that he chose to make sure that he's got his team as up as possible for these next 3 games, and the fans in the same vein, then sure, I think that's all fine and good. I didn't necessarily change my thought on whether he stays, whether he's gone. I still kind of feel sort of the same way. But what it did confirm to me is that if he stays, look, this is the right guy to get it over the top. And I think that's the main thing to take away from it, is that he has the perspective on where they're coming from and how hard it actually is to break through into that mold that everybody wants Mizzou to break through to. So you have to have the perspective of, okay, even though this was not a step forward, we are still well steps ahead of a lot of teams right now that wish to be where we are.
But I will say, if it goes the other way, that last night, that adds to the reaction that will be very overwhelmingly negative, and rightfully, if it goes the other way.
Oh,
because
sure. Right.
I mean, like, and again, like I said, I think it's all very calculated, where you come out impassioned and you can paint the picture of the future and get people on board for that. If a month later you're in a different place, that's gonna be like, well, what in the heck line of BS were we just fed? Like, that's gonna feel, we're gonna feel like the suckers for buying it, right? But I also think that in anybody's case. I mean, there have been coaches that have left a place. Lane Kiffin is probably the most infamous, where he said, I think it's a good idea to have a press conference before I leave, and then we're going to burn down Knoxville as a result.
Yeah.
It's never pleasant when those decisions get made, obviously, but I think the calculated risk is like continuing to drum up that support like he did so successfully last night, because he's brilliant with it. I think on some level, this has got to come down to needing the assurances of they've given him the north end zone and the indoor. He talked about all these things that we had to do. That's like a stump speech to boosters last night. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, give this man what he, and like, I'm eating it up. I'm on the radio going, boosters, the people with the money, give this man what he needs. Look what he's going to do for us. Come on. But when that happens, you kind of already know you'll probably end up as a villain if you leave a place. And so that throws more logs on the fire.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like it,
but
even if he didn't come out as like, I'm not going to say fiery, but as
he was
lively
fiery
about
I'll say it.
Or a lot of that stuff. Even if he didn't give that 3 minutes worth of passionate words about what this could be here at Mizzou, even if he didn't, I think him leaving still kind of hurts and stings a lot of the same way.
It would have been brutal.
So I don't know if he has a ton to lose from that. Like that's
no. And if you get to a place where you end up leaving, it's going to sound crass, but it's like, whatever. They're going to be mad at me anyway. So whatever. Right. And so he's not like gonna try to hedge his bets on something like that, because I think when he's speaking, he's being 100% genuine. He hasn't seen an offer from anywhere else. Like it's not the time yet for that to have happened. I bet you Jimmy Sexton's been busy, but like truly Drink has not anything to do with that yet. I think that's totally reasonable to say that like he's not, feeding you a line right now. He kind of is, but he's also genuine, and like this is the way that he views it. And until such time that he's not here, that's the right way to view it. But man, if that doesn't fire you up and go, this is why we need this guy here. And so publicly everybody sees, man, this is our dude. And hopefully whatever it is that they need to accomplish from the administration side to keep him here and give him the assurances that he needs, man, I hope it happens, because again, I believe him when he says the stuff he said last night. And it'll be all the more satisfying, Andy. The dude will be a local hero. I mean, he will be on Gary Pinkel level and then some if the vision he lays out in a moment like last night comes to fruition, because in a coaching carousel where you're going to have every opportunity to pick a different place to go. I know people could say, well, how do we even know he's the top candidate somewhere else? Look at all the openings. One of them is going to go, hey, this is our next target. Let's try to get him. Knowing that in my soul that's going to be true, him staying makes him a legend, and then him staying and doing all the things he said he would.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to sob just thinking about it, Andy. So I'm just saying that I thought it was really cool. You know me, I'm as big of a skeptic, as big of a sarcastic, whatever as they get. But I was seeing that last night going, dude, let's go. Let's run through a brick wall, because I think he's right. I think this is what can still happen here. So it starts with, getting on board with these last 3 games, finding a way to see the team break through and win some meaningful games, win a senior day, win a rivalry game on the road, win one for the battle line, and like see how far we can take this, and then continue to elevate and make that 6-inch jump next year if you can. But it was a heck of a topic that he, like you said, unprompted. It wasn't as though Mike Kelly said, hey, here, go on this. Drink had some things he wanted to say. He asked him
kind of a question about like just the 2-minute response that we just heard was mostly unprompted. And then Kelly did tee him up a bit for the there's a lot still to play for. And then he goes on the whole playoff or bust thing.
Yeah.
But it was stuff that he had on his mind. I'm sure that he wanted to get out off his chest. And look,
for a variety of reasons.
I can't blame him for that, because there are a lot of trolls out there that saying dumb stuff about it. So
yeah, like I don't know what bothers him more, the trolls that would say that like, oh, I don't believe we've never beaten a ranked opponent, so we never will under Drink, or the ones that are like, I don't think I'm trolling when I say I'm sitting here really concerned about what could happen over the next 3 weeks, because I think the program is moving in the right direction with its current leadership, and I would hate to see that changed. So, like, I think those are two different factions. I'm definitely in that second one going, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm uneasy about it. And so that's why I see a message like last night and go, all right, like I said, I checked my bank account. Those who can check theirs and make it happen, those are the people that need to hear that message, I think.
Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Your thoughts on Eli Drinkwitz's fiery comments last night on
Thank
Tiger
you for
Talk.
coming around on the word fiery.
Brendan's words first. But tell us what you thought about the 875-KTGR. We will come back and give our predictions for what the final 3 games will hold for Mizzou. We want your thoughts on that too. Give us your predictions for what the record will end up being at 573-875-KTGR. We'll discuss it next year on The Big Show.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Buckeye is your fall savings destination. Find unbeatable prices on everything farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living. Join the free Buckeye Buyers Club and get even more savings on every purchase, now through the end of the year. Stock up for the season and save big at Buckeye. Not a Buckeye Buyers Club member? Sign up free at buckeyes.com.
It was 2:30 on a Tuesday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. It was a dismayed wife. Fresh off vacation, her and her hubby came home to a wrecked water heater. It had sprung a leak, a bad one. So while the plumbing team took care of that leaky water heater, Brian's certified restoration guy, Josh, with 2 decades of experience, came in to restore the area and stop mold in its tracks. Another day, another job, another expert added to the team. Ho hum. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
You know your former golf bag? It's not just holding up the weed whacker on your garage wall. It's also holding cash. Same goes for that rowing machine you swore you'd use once. At Play It Again Sports, turn your gently used gear into money in your pocket. Bring in your old golf equipment, fitness gear, softball bats, baseball cleats, and more. Cash out and keep it, or trade up to something better. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest.
Get our Healthy Car Special for only $39.95 from your Missouri-owned and operated Big O.
Show me safe coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care, educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. From pruning to removal to planting, their expertise goes beyond the surface. They're known for properly planting trees, removing burlap and wire cages from the root ball to ensure long-term growth and strength. With expert service and yearly discounts, your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
It's hard to believe basketball season is already here. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill reminds you that whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you just want to plop down with some friends and watch some hoops on TV, they've got a spot for you. 1851 Underground has daily drink specials and half-off select appetizers for happy hour. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
My name is Nick Rasmussen, and I used Phyllis Nichols to get my life insurance. So I really wanted to get a term policy that would cover us for the next 20 years. For some reason, something happened to me, knowing that my wife was going to be taken care of. Life insurance is a really tricky topic, and working with Phyllis, she talked about all the ins and the outs, what I was getting, why should I do whole life or term, all those different types of products that are out there can be incredibly confusing. Phyllis will sit down and go through all of those with you. I just know that she's always got my best interest at heart, and everybody in town should use her the next time they're getting a quote.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
So, some interesting comments from Eli Drinkwitz last night on Tiger Talk. You can give us your thoughts on them, 573-875-KTGR. Daniel texting in, loved every word I heard last night from Drink. Last night showed me Drink isn't going anywhere, and us as Tiger fans should be very happy about that. Also, Drink has to be the top coach. The national media really takes everything he says out of context. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, him. I don't know what the actual stats are.
What the rankings would be.
I don't know. It happens.
He's up there. And the reason he's up there is he says a lot and has a lot to say. And I think it, more than many coaches, it is a part of what he looks to do to craft the public opinion and to craft the narrative. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that in a matter of fact way. You can look at how frequently he speaks on topics that he feels strongly about and does so eloquently, and it uses his platform in that way. Like, I don't think that is by mistake. And there will be times where he eases off and decides that a certain topic isn't one that he's ready to opine about or to get fired up about. But it's always done with an intent. And so I think when you're as skilled as he is in this arena, then yeah, there are going to be times where what you say makes headlines. And I know for him, he just doesn't want it to be in a way that it doesn't, he feel represent the entirety of what he was trying to portray. And anytime you end up on a graphic, unfortunately, you probably are not getting a 5-minute clip. But like, that's the world we live in. And that's the Twitter world that we're in, and the TikTok world that we're in. You're not going to get often the full, when you're looking at a tweet about it, Andy, you're not going to get the full episode of Tiger Talk, right? Like, people don't have that. And so that's kind of where it gets caught up a little bit at times. But and I get it. When you're that prominent of a figure, you probably don't want to have the words you say, represented in a way that you didn't intend them. And so that can be the trick of it at times, for sure.
So it's a lot to dive into, obviously. And that's why it's so important to, in this world where we get so bogged down by millions of 5-second messages, 5 to 10-second clips, like diving in deep to what Eli Drinkwitz actually said in the full context, important there.
Hey, so we have a 2-hour show, so we were able to do that.
Helps, right?
Enjoyed that segment.
Glad our show is not 10 to 15 seconds. It'd be
but yet, we'll put
we would make it work either way.
That's we were in the business too. Like, that's the challenge of it. Sometimes there will be things we say, and I'm like, do I really want to put that in a 1-minute clip? Or what about what I said right after that? That's really good context. Sometimes you take yourself out of context. You're the one putting it out there.
Like if someone clipped me off saying what I said yesterday, and like the
what'd you say?
Like best case scenario is Drink leaves. No, that's not. No, if the best case scenario is Drink stays.
I have to add that to my folder. I meant to add that to TikTok today. I'm sorry, I missed
that's okay.
Missed putting that on YouTube.
Right. No, it was interesting to hear all of that. And also in the context of, look, it is a way, I think, for him to fire up his group for the last 3 games. So how will the last 3 games go? Last 25% of the season. Give us your predictions on Mizzou's final 3 games. What will they finish? 5-7-3, 8-7-5, KTGR. They should be favored in 2 out of the 3. They should be favorites at home against Mississippi State. They are. It's still a touchdown this week.
Yes.
I would imagine that they are still favorites at Arkansas, maybe even by a similar point spread. But
I am skeptical of that part of it. I think it's pending the outcome of this game, honestly. How does Mississippi State go? And because every time we're getting data on this Mizzou team with Matt Zollers, it's largely new information about what they can do offensively. And so you're favored to beat Mississippi State by 7. Let's say you beat them by a point or you lose the game, and it's low scoring. It's 17-16, and you lose. Let's say I don't see any way I couldn't sit here and predict that Missouri is going to beat Arkansas if that's the outcome of Mississippi State, because that is the closest thing we've got to like a pretty similar team. Arkansas and Mississippi State played each other. They went back and forth. Mississippi State came away with a close win in the end, but Arkansas can put up points. And I know Mizzou's defense is its strength, but I don't know if we find out, hey, Missouri at home against Mississippi State, they still couldn't really put up the points on that pretty middle level defense. Are we going to be able to keep pace with Arkansas's offense? Like, that will be a question for me pending the outcome of this game.
Arkansas is still really bad, though. Like
their defense is really bad.
And I think Mizzou can overcome that. I believe that will, like, yes, it matters, like what they do the next couple of games that will affect it. I would still predict that Mizzou is favored at Arkansas no matter what.
And like, of course, I hope we never have to get into the conversation where we find out, oh yeah, Mizzou did lose to Mississippi State. So now we'll really get to know who's going to be favored, and like have that as a debate or a conversation. But I don't know. Arkansas, by the way, this game just recently happened, November 1st, between Mississippi State and Arkansas. Arkansas put up 433 yards. They gave up to Mississippi State 388, 282 through the air. Like, Mississippi State's going to try to throw the football on Missouri. Arkansas, man, they ran for 239 on Mississippi State. And so you might look at that and say, okay, Ahmad Hardy, Jamal Roberts, that's your answer in a few days here on Senior Day. Like, that's how we beat Mississippi State. We got to run the ball. I've said that a few times this year. I think Arkansas has been able to really just put up points on pretty much anybody. Auburn was able to beat Arkansas in Fayetteville, but Arkansas still scored 24 on that Auburn defense, which we know is not an easy task. So I don't know. A&M 45-42. That was the score in Fayetteville.
No, I get
Arkansas on that defense that we just saw shut us down pretty much. 42 points for the Razorbacks in that game. So, like, you could say, oh, Mizzou's strength of defense against Arkansas's strength of offense. Sure. I don't know that looks like Arkansas being held below 24 points. I mean, that hasn't, not since the Notre Dame game have they been held below 24. Their numbers are 31, 42, 24, and 35 in the games they've played since the firing of Sam Pittman after Notre Dame. So can Missouri, led by Matt Zoller, score 30 points on somebody? Can they? We don't know that yet, I don't think.
You think it happens this week?
On Mississippi State? I don't. I think this is a game. I don't know what the total is, but I think it's probably a game played in the 20s, and maybe by both sides. As we'll get into over-unders tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know that Missouri puts up 30 on Mississippi State, unless it's just the clear from the beginning that Mississippi State can't stop the run. If that's true, then, you know, maybe that's Mizzou's avenue, and they're able to be very comfortable in the identity of the team for this game. Checking on the season-long numbers for Mississippi State, they are 118th in FBS against the run. They give up 188 yards per game on the ground. It's been 204 per game over their last three. They gave up 300 yards rushing in their most recent game. So, like, maybe
run the damn ball.
Maybe run the damn ball.
Right.
Quick, easy completions, and that was a Georgia game. So, like, okay, are we Georgia offensively? I don't know. Maybe probably not.
I don't think
but
so.
300, and they're like coming into their own offensively too. Georgia
Yeah.
has recently really dialed it in. In that Ole Miss game, I was very impressed by what they were able to do offensively and at Mississippi State. So they ran for 300 yards. Maybe Mizzou's two running backs can both clear 100 yards again, and the defense cannot give up so many big chunk plays. You can manage time of possession a little better, beat Mississippi State. I'm predicting Missouri to win this game. Not going to give away my score for Friday, because obviously we'll tell you who we've got. But yeah, if we're doing predicting the final 25% of the regular season, give me the Tigers in this weekend's game. But if I'm wrong about that, and Mizzou loses this game, 6-6, they're not going to win another game. Like, if they lose to Mississippi State, I think that is the slippery slope to a really brutal end of the season.
Ben says on our texter, we can win out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we went 2-1 with a lost OU. This was our year with a soft schedule, and we might go 9-3. Like, I can't really see them losing this. I can see it, but I don't think they will this weekend.
I'm not predicting it either.
It's like it just. I think the talent level ultimately will win out for Mizzou, like it did when they went there last year. Like, I don't even think particularly they played all that well quarterback wise in that game, but they were still able to find ways to just dominate both lines of scrimmage. Like, that's where it's
a home game. It's
home
senior
game.
night.
There are so many things to up your energy level for if you're on that field, and so I think that is ultimately what will win out there. So, like, and again, that's the jumping off point. Like, that gets you to your 7th win. maybe cashes your ticket wherever you got it from. I don't know. Not yours, obviously. You got to keep going. Get to either Oklahoma or Arkansas. I would say that it settles at 8.
So you think probably drop the road game in Norman. You haven't beat them there since the 60s or whatever it's been. But
I had them winning that game, I think.
Preseason.
Preseason.
Oklahoma's defense has shown to be, and again, Alabama, that's an interesting data point for this weekend for the Sooners as they go to Tuscaloosa. I think that's a road game for the Sooners. I'm curious to see if their offense gets shut down at Bama, and that's a revenge game for Bama too after last year. So that could be a tough one for Oklahoma. If Oklahoma loses in covers, I think it was 6.5 before the week kind of really got going. I don't know the spread right now. If Oklahoma covers, I will be pretty terrified about that game in Norman. Just very pessimistic because I think we know Alabama's a really good team, and Alabama kind of blowing out OU would tell me, all right, there is a way to continue to limit John Mateer in this offense. Tennessee couldn't do it, but Tennessee doesn't have a defense. We have a defense. So maybe there's a way to make it an ugly game, kind of like it was last year in Como, and maybe you do win. I can't currently predict a win in Norman. I'll predict tentatively a win at Arkansas, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as people believe. I think that's going to be – I could see – I do not think the spread, even if Mizzou handles Mississippi State, I think the Arkansas spread will be less than a touchdown. If Mizzou is favored, it won't be by as large of a margin. I think Arkansas is just a hard team to blow out because they are so good offensively. It's not – I know you said, Arkansas stinks. They do on defense. Offensively, they are among the very best in the country. There's no qualifiers needed for that statement, in my opinion. I'll look at FPI on what they have for the efficiencies. It's come down a little bit. Arkansas is still rated 14th, though, 1 spot above Alabama and 3 spots below Tennessee.
No, they can move the ball, no doubt. They can score with just about anybody. It's just they have allowed teams to unlock things in their offenses too, and they usually haven't been able to get the next play or the final chance to jump ahead. So,
to your point, their adjusted defensive efficiency is 109th.
Yeah, that's
in the country.
It's down there,
and so that's not very good. I'm sure that's last in the SEC. It is.
And look, 8-4. I think I predicted 9-3 at the beginning of the season. 8-4, and look, folks, that would not be bad. Yes, it would be disappointing. You wanted the playoff. I get it. It was there. It could have happened. You were a play or two away from winning both Alabama and Vandy. I think you're several more plays away from winning the A&M game. So that could have been.
Let's forget that one. But if you win one of the others, you're still alive
in this
today.
Here. Yeah. So we're talking still about Mizzou's possibilities of sneaking their way in if something goes differently against Alabama or against Vandy. So that's not a bad place to be. And keep in mind, 8-4 after this season will mean that you have had a winning SEC record, which everyone has told me those are the only good teams. Well, guess what? 8-4 gets you there going forward in the SEC with the 9-game schedule.
That would be meaningful to get it done. I'll say this as well. I hope that no, I don't know what I'll say. Totally lost it. I was reading this tweet. Sometimes you just go on a roll, Andy, and sometimes your roll is stopped by a self-inflicted wound. Here's my pivot. Andrew on Twitter wants to know, what do you think of the rumors Drink addressed the team today that he accepted the Penn State job? This was something that a rando posted on the Power Mizzou board, and Gabe DeArmond quickly said that didn't happen. So
yeah, it is so you know, nothing but a rumor.
Like Andrew is asking us, and so I feel like I want to put it out there that I also saw this post today on Power Mizzou and said that doesn't seem very plausible for a lot of reasons. And then Gabe said he checked in on that, and no such meeting took place.
There would be absolutely no benefit to Eli Drinkwitz doing
reason.
None whatsoever.
I'm not telling you definitively he's not going to leave, but that to do it on on the Wednesday before your senior night when you've got 3 games left, I'm going to go ahead and say that did not happen.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident. Gabe DeArmond wouldn't have had to have addressed it, but I would still go. Yeah, I'm going to go with no. So Andrew, if you missed that update, that's where that all stemmed from. I know you sign up for the board because you'll see some crazy stuff on it, and it's a lot of fun and entertaining. But also, like, since I did happen to see the same thing Andrew was asking about, I'll tell you, like, no. Let's not propagate that rumor. Like, that's not a thing. That did not happen.
875 KTGR if you want to give us a call or a text with anything else you want to tell us when it comes to Mizzou football. Give us your predictions for the final 3 games of the season.
Yeah. And I actually this afternoon accepted the Auburn job. So, Andy, I meant to tell you that earlier.
In the middle of a show.
I know this will be my final week on the show. Sorry. But couldn't pass it up. I
don't blame you. Yeah, go coach for a year, get fired, and have a cushy buyout. I respect the hustle, man.
Yeah, that's all it was. Just some hustle.
All right, Under the Bus coming up next. We are no longer making sense. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. The early signing period across all non-football college sports is today, and Mizzou busy at work with all of their programs signing their recruits for the class of 2026. Mizzou men's basketball signing the number 2 recruiting class in the nation, according to 24/7 Sports, over the next couple of days. Officially today, 5-star Tony Bryant and 4-star Aiden Chronister signed the dotted line to join Mizzou next year as freshmen. Another 5-star Jason Crow Jr. is expected to sign tomorrow morning. That 3-man class for Mizzou, again, creates the number 2 recruiting class in the nation, according to 24/7 Sports, and number 1, according to ESPN. Mizzou men's basketball plays tonight. They take on Minnesota, 7 o'clock tip-off as Dennis Gates' Tigers try to improve to 4-0 on the season. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's basketball, a 97-75 win over Arkansas State. Last night, they improved to 3-0. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Advanced Tree Solutions. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. We drop down into the upper 30s. Tomorrow is mild, but we'll see more clouds, a high near 66. Friday, we have a great end to our week. We'll see mostly sunny skies and temperatures up to about 74. The warm weather lasts into the weekend with highs in the 70s on Saturday. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou Play of the Week?
Inside handoff, running right. Hardy, second level, between the hash marks to the 30. Foot race to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, to the house. Touchdown, Ahmad Hardy. With 6:45 to play. Rambles in from 45, and Missouri cuts the lead to 31-16.
The Mizzou Play of the Week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
It's that time of year again. Hit a deer, win a cow with FPP Body Shop. Listen, I'm not saying actively crash your vehicle into a deer, but if you do hit a deer, FPP will ease that stress with a $20 gift card to Fulton Worst House. And you'll be entered in to win the grand prize, a $500 gift card.
Man, I tell you what, winner last year had a cookout at every meet known to man. He all right?
Yeah, Billy. The winner will be popular again this year, too. With FPP, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPPBodyShop.com.
Hey, Lenny. George, good to see you. Yeah, well, it ain't so good to see you, pal. I wish you'd kept quiet all those years. Family Pawn's got all the hunting gear people need to do exactly that. Bows, scopes, ammo, everything. Doing what, George? Look at you, mounted on the wall for everybody to see. Not gonna lie, George. I sort of like hanging around. Their fireplace feels real nice.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
I want to go to Family Pawn.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at APIProjectFitness.com.
Another winter inside, Looking at the snow in your yard that you can't write your name in because you didn't order your new deck from Crutch's Custom Exteriors in time. Don't look ahead to spring cleaning. You're ready for spring peeing and April showers with Freedom Stream Powers off your new Crutch's deck. They can build your pee platform in the winter so it's ready for you to splash your autograph in any springtime snow that's left. CrutchesCustomExteriors.com. True beauty is on the outside.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing. Our decadent maple spiced blend that's won fans nationwide. Loved for how it smells and for how it makes you feel. Each cup brings back the comfort of a classic coffee morning. Cozy, nostalgic, maple spiced coffee. Shop Caldy'sCoffee.com for your bag today. Also available in pods.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Sticklin.
And I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald of the Sticklin & Sticklin Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Sticklin & Sticklin.
KTGR and MU Healthcare Sports Medicine are highlighting a local athlete each week. It's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight.
This week features Father Tolton's soccer defender, Weston Palmer, who scored the game-tying goal against Southern Boone in a 2-1 victory, helping the Trailblazers to their second district championship in 3 years.
That's the KTGR Athlete Spotlight, thanks to MU Healthcare Sports Medicine, providing everything athletes need to be and stay at their best, because they're competitors too. They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Starting today, we are no longer making sense. The U.S. Mint announced today that the penny will no longer be produced.
Making sense. CENTS.
Yeah. I know.
Play that little.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I
4 out of 10 on that joke.
No. I can't claim it for my own. But
that's not worth like a deep tease either over a commercial break, but okay.
Yeah, sad day, honestly.
That's tough. Yeah,
it is
wow.
tough. Tough day for the penny. But
Penny ain't played nobody, Paul.
So they just get wiped off. The entire production line just it completely changes because the penny has really taken a downturn recently. Yeah, well, this is sad. Like the whole, I wish I could still teach my kids about what a penny actually is, and now I won't
They'll
even know.
see them around.
I guess.
A penny saved, whatever.
Is Lane Kiffin still, what's this deal with the freeze warning? And
he posted multiple pictures in his car of it going below. It was like 31 degrees, 30 degrees, just making note of how chilly it is, I guess. A lot of people commenting, in Gainesville, it rarely is going to get that cold down in Gainesville. So I think he's throwing the cold weather under the bus, but some people are thinking like he's dropping a lot of hints of maybe a willingness to go to greener or perhaps warmer pastures.
I thought he was talking about Hugh Freeze, but
no, it was mostly actually a freeze warning for Lane Kiffin. I assume he was in Oxford. But like even Auburn's probably not that much more of a different climate from Oxford. I feel like Gainesville is his best chance if he wants to avoid the freeze warnings in his car.
I would think so. So we'll see if that domino ever falls, but it won't fall for a while because he's going to be coaching a playoff team very soon. So that complicates things. If you are going to the Mizzou men's basketball game tonight, be advised, $1.99 beer. Need we say more?
That's a That's $1 bill and 99 pennies.
Yes. So since we don't have pennies anymore, just bring $2 and they'll give you, I don't know what back because we don't make pennies anymore.
Probably bring a credit card because I assume they're cashless. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's my assumption these days going anywhere at a stadium. But $1.99 beer the whole game. Go responsibly. And you know what? For those students who are of age, you can't probably have too many of those in the dorms. So I wouldn't say to those students to walk over.
Yeah.
But somebody's probably going to be able to walk over if you live close enough. So that's the way to do it. But $1.99. That's a good way to get folks in the building, get students excited.
And look, good reason to be. This could be an interesting game tonight for Mizzou men's basketball as they take on Minnesota. Call or text us with how you think that's going to go. 573-875-KTGR. In the meantime, we will update our SEC football tiers. Billy did an excellent job with mine last week, and so I'll screw it up once again as I take over my tiers again. Brendan will have an update on his tiers. Send us your tiers, too, with a call or text. You're on The Big Show. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are knowledgeable car people, great folks to work with, and they make sure you get a great deal, too. If you head over to leestirecompany.com, you can check out all of the great rebates that you can get on select tires. And if you're in the market for new tires right now, well, now's a great month to do it because Lee's Tire Company all throughout the month of November is giving you a free front-end alignment if you buy 4 new tires. So not only are you getting a top-notch crew to find the right tires for your vehicle, but you're also getting that free front-end alignment. Again, good through the end of this month. So head into Lee's Tire Company to take advantage of that now. And on top of that, their work is backed up by a 36 months, 36,000 miles nationwide warranty. Keeps you safe on the road, keeps you safe in your wallet as well. Head into Lee's Tire Company. There are 2 locations in Columbia, one on the Business Loop, another one at University Garage right by the MU campus, or their location in Centralia, or online at leestirecompany.com. Because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
This is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants. I am truly honored to be voted Jefferson City's best, and that wouldn't have happened without our genuine and outstanding patients. We focus on continually serving those struggling with hearing loss with the best value in hearing aid technology in the area. If you are interested in a comprehensive hearing evaluation and solutions, please see us in Jefferson City, Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
The best thing you can do for your business this year is create a plan for next year. Zimmer Communications wants you to check out our free year-end planning guide at ZimmerCommunications.com. It's packed with tips, templates, and real strategies that will give you clarity, advice, and a solid strategy to help crush your business goals next year. Finish strong, start stronger. Download our year-end planning guide today at ZimmerCommunications.com. You know business, we grow business. Check out all of our free resources at ZimmerCommunications.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR
Sports Center. I'm Christine Lisi. Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz pleaded not guilty today to charges he and teammate Emmanuel Clase took bribes to help gamblers win bets placed on pitches they threw, was released on a $500,000 bond and issued GPS monitoring. NBA, Mavericks power forward Anthony Davis will not return from a left calf strain until the okay from owner Patrick Dumont. LeBron James, assigned to the Lakers G League affiliate, took part in his first full practice of the season as he works toward a return from sciatica, hopes to make his season debut this month. The approach LA's taking with LeBron will benefit him as well as the team, notes ESPN NBA analyst Chinea Gwumake.
That's 2 guys that he can rely on in Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. He's always had a 30% usage rate. He's never gone below 28%. This is a year where they can actually protect him offensively because he has guys that he can trust. So I do believe that LeBron taking his time has actually been the best case scenario for this Lakers squad, who is trending upward.
Lakers Thunder tonight, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN. Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, dealing with a knee issue, will not play tonight against Charlotte.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
From Faro,
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush,
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
and Arrowhead.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Well, it's Wednesday. Time to update our SEC football tiers and may have to come to a conclusion about where our Missouri Tigers stand after their most recent opportunity to maybe jump up a tier or two, and they just fell short again. So we'll go through the entire conference, and maybe are we starting to see some separation in teams that we believe will be playoff contenders or finalists versus the teams that, it's just not in the cards this year. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a few minutes. We'll also talk at 5:25 about Mizzou men's basketball. Who you got in their matchup tonight between the Tigers and the Golden Gophers of Minnesota out at Mizzou Arena, where the beers will indeed be $1.99 for the night. You can keep the penny. 573-875-5847 to give us a call or a text. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Well, Eli Drinkwitz had a lot to say on Tiger Talk last night when it came to maybe responding to folks that are overly disappointed or upset about how the last few weeks have gone and how Mizzou is now out of playoff contention and does this season matter, everything like that. And look, it addressed the playoff or bust mentality and says, look, there are still plenty of things to play for despite not making the playoff. And look, it's hard to argue with anything he says on that. And I think it can galvanize his team, can galvanize his fan base going forward. There will always still be the looming question of, is he still here going forward? But if he is, I think it's still the reassurance that he has the perspective on this in order to do this job as well as anybody has here at the University of Missouri. And Mizzou fans should really want to keep him.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
We'll see Mizzou with a bit better test tonight. Men's basketball as they take on Minnesota. Minnesota's in the 70s when it comes to KenPom. Tigers are in the 30s as it stands now. Mizzou's 3-0 against some mid-major teams. They've had 2 blowout wins and 1 close win. Minnesota has played even worse teams so far, and they're 2-0 so far. Both of these teams will have their first test of the year, and we'll see how it goes tonight. As Brendan mentioned, $1.99 beer at Mizzou Arena. That's not bad. 7 o'clock tip-off right here on KTGR.
Number 3.
It was a big day for Dennis Gates, too. He inked 2 of his 3 big-time recruits for the class of 2026, 5-star forward Tony Bryant and 4-star guard and forward Aiden Chronister. The highest-ranked guy in that class, Jason Crow Jr., the 5-star, he's going to sign tomorrow, it would appear, and once he does, Mizzou will have the number 2 ranked recruiting class in the nation, according to 24/7 Sports. That's not too shabby.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Chiefs back at practice today, getting set for a big matchup in Denver against the Broncos. Something to note, Isaiah Pacheco missed practice today due to the knee injury. Also, George Karlaftis limited with a thumb issue. We'll see if that lingers the rest of the week. Good news, both Josh Simmons and Jawan Taylor, full practice participants today. Going to be important to have both tackles for this game against the Broncos.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
Look, I don't use pennies anymore, but I think the elimination of the penny is just a slippery slope sign of things to come.
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
You can call or text us at 573-875-KTGR to talk all things Penny and Mizzou and Chiefs.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, next thing you know, we won't be using cash anymore. Oh, wait.
Well, but people still use cash for some things. Like
a couple people do.
That's the problem is that I mostly think about how I'm going to teach my kids about this. And the point of, when I got to, go to the mall back when people did that.
What's the mall?
Like, yeah, exactly. It got $5 or $10. Like, yeah, go spend it on whatever you want. And then I got to, use that money the way that I saw fit. And then eventually that money would get less and less as I spend it. And I realized, like, oh, shoot, I've got to save this a little bit more because I'm about to run out of it. If you just give them the credit card, they will think that it is unlimited. And just get you do not see anything get depleted when you just swipe and tap and chip the credit card everywhere. So that's
great. Give me one more thing to worry about that I really didn't have on my radar yet. But yep, we'll have to figure that one out too.
Yeah. So
that's all right.
I mean, that's what we've come to. But look,
they're still eating glue at this age. Like, it's fine. We got time.
I get it. But the penny it's not out of circulation. There's still pennies around, but they're not making them anymore. So whatever pennies you have left, save them up so that they can be continued to be reassured that, these things don't get spent anymore. Yeah, let's just stop making them. That's what happened. So
we're old. It's fine. You can accept it.
573-875 KTGR. Rest in peace to the penny. But let's talk about our SEC football tiers now.
Okay.
Last week,
mine were perfect, and yours were great too.
Well,
the best ones you've done all year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. They were not any of my doing, but that was
Billy
how it went with
short
Billy.
And sweet.
He sure did. And look, here's the thing. I've got ours up or Billy's up from last week. You can see them on our YouTube channel or on Facebook. But he has A&M and Alabama at the top. No changes, I think, to that. I don't think we should change that at all. And I don't think we should change tier 2 either. Ole Miss and Georgia. That is, I think, correct. Even though all of those teams are bunched together in the rankings, I guess not so much anymore because it wasn't Ole Miss, the team that dropped, and Texas Tech now number 6 after last night's rankings.
What'd you think of that, by the way? We talked yesterday and said that little conglomerate of SEC schools at 5, 6, 7 would be hard to break up. The committee decided should have beat Citadel by more. Lane, I don't know.
Wow.
Like they end up losing a spot there to Tech, who jumps BYU, of course, after the win over them, but they jump Ole Miss as well in the CFP.
That's true. I will counter it with LSU's wins have not aged as well. Like,
I'm sorry, LSU.
Or did I say LSU? I meant Ole Miss.
Ole
like
Miss.
The LSU win that they got early in the year when LSU was 4, that is no longer as meaningful. The same thing with South Carolina. They had 1 possession wins against Kentucky and Arkansas.
Yeah.
So that kind of drags them down. Like, the schedule in and of itself wasn't all that impressive, I thought, anyway. And, the way that it's happened and the way that Texas Tech has won their games, like, they've played maybe not as tough of a schedule, although there are some metrics that say the Texas Tech schedule has been tougher. And they have just blown them out. Like, it just dominated, blown past them. I actually don't mind the fact that Texas Tech is 6.
Oh, I don't either. And to me, it can't be as much about, like, all the things you said are true. The committee in a perfect world would have already determined that the gap between 6, 7, 8 going into last week was really, really slim. And based on, and again, it's not Ole Miss's fault that they played Citadel and beat them by 49, but like, that's your schedule. And Tech had an opportunity this week where they were able to have an impressive win and they banked it. So they did move up. I think that's the way it should work. In the case of Indiana, Texas A&M, it did not work that way. Indiana held serve after a close win, surviving at Penn State. A&M blew out a then-ranked Missouri. Wasn't enough to leap Indiana, but maybe the gap was larger between those two teams.
And I think similar things could be said about A&M's schedule. Also has not aged well with the teams that they have played. And look, I know they don't have a loss yet, which is why they're 3.
Yep.
But the only team that is in the top 25 right now that they have beaten is Notre Dame. Like, they've played the bottom of the SEC this year.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that you've got 2 examples of something similar happening where a team with an impressive week versus a team with a week that, like, whatever, like, it's not like we're punishing you for it, but it wasn't as impressive. In one case, they said, yeah, that's worthwhile for us. We're going to make the leap. of Texas Tech, and in the case of A&M versus Indiana, we're not at that point yet. Could they get to that point? Because A&M's going to get to play at Texas. I know that's still left on their schedule, and maybe such time comes that they have more impressive of a resume than Indiana, but they didn't make the move this week. So I think mostly even though like those are two examples of the committee doing opposite things, you can't say that that's inconsistent because we don't really know how close that 2 versus 3 conversation was before the week, whereas 6, 7, 8 could have been pretty close. And to beat number 7 and to do it like they did, that was a resume boost for Texas Tech. So yeah, I think that's legit.
So I think at the top, it makes sense. Now, for yours, Brendan, you had Georgia with A&M and Alabama.
Yeah, and I don't have a reason to change that. I still think, they beat Mississippi State by 20 on the road as a 8.5 or so point favorite. Like, Georgia pummeled them, and that teams haven't been doing that to Mississippi State recently. So I don't have any reason to move Georgia off of that top tier. Yeah. I think those 3 teams are all national title contenders with what we have seen. I'm not, you could rank them within that tier if you want to, but I don't really think I have the desire to move or shake any of those teams in that top tier. Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia are all tier 1 SEC teams for me, and we know they're all going to the playoff.
Did you, I'm jumping ahead, I'm sorry. Did
You're
you
fine.
put Auburn completely away from the tiers?
Oh, thank you, Billy, for that. Oh, he did. If you're watching on YouTube.
It's way off in the corner. It's not in any of the tiers. It's just like all the way over here.
I said I wanted to have, because Billy originally had placed him 8th in my final tier. I had 8 tiers. Andy / Billy only had 5. But then I said, no, can you actually take Auburn as a punitive measure for their loss to Kentucky, where they scored 3 whole points? Can you move Auburn all the way off, like to the very edge of the screen, and make it really little? And he did. This is my first time seeing that. I asked if he would, and kind of said it as an offhand comment, and he did. So if you're watching on YouTube or online, you get that little treat. I'll actually allow Auburn to rejoin the ranks though this week because of their overtime loss at Vanderbilt. Like, they scored 38 points on Vanderbilt. Like, I didn't know Auburn could score 38 points at all. So yeah, they will. I think the post Hugh Freeze situation there is going to be helpful. But yeah, I did ask Billy to take them basically all the way off the rankings.
Right, yeah,
they scored. Did you watch that Kentucky Auburn game? Because it was gnarly.
I did not.
I needed to be punitive after that. So yes, I did do that. I'm glad you noticed that because I didn't even notice it at first
over here. But either
well
way,
done, Billy.
That could be interesting to see how they slot back in. All right, so for yours, you've got Ole Miss by themselves in tier 2. Is anybody joining them? Anybody?
Yeah, so they beat Citadel. They didn't cover, but who cares? Shut them out 49-0. Oklahoma and Texas are so interesting to me, and the committee agrees. I mean, the committee's got them right on that borderline of what it could look like to, end up in the CFP. But I don't think either team played last weekend. Is that right? Texas, OU both had bye weeks. So
sounds right.
Not really anything I can do about that. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to kind of predict and say I move Texas up and say that those top 5 would be the teams I could see still making the playoff. They just have to kind of finish out their schedule. But the schedule for Texas is difficult with the 2 games. They've got Georgia, I believe, this weekend, and then they've got A&M the last weekend of the year. If Texas wins out, they're going to deserve that bid, and they're going to get one. So, but I'm going to say that let's see, even though I might think Texas has it in them to get there, they haven't done it yet. I would separate them from OU, though, in that regard, because I don't think OU has it in them to get over the hump with their last 3 games. But I'll leave them for now and let the play dictate. They can stay Oklahoma and Texas in tier 3 together. Nobody joins Ole Miss in tier 2, and I'm not moving Vanderbilt up on the virtue of surviving against Auburn. Like that Vanderbilt should probably lost that game, and so they're staying in tier 4. But do I have to drop Missouri down and be honest about where we've come?
So again, you've got tier 1 A&M, Alabama, Georgia, tier 2 Ole Miss, tier 3 Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah,
you are keeping Vanderbilt in tier 4.
I am.
Alone or anybody else up with them?
I know that this 8-tier thing is kind of,
You got too many tears.
I got a lot of tears, but you know what? It's my tears.
Yeah,
and I'll cry them if I want to. And Tennessee didn't play last week either, so it's kind of a light schedule for the SEC. So it's not like I can move up a Tennessee or move up an LSU. Like we just haven't. Well, we can move LSU down. Like they didn't really get that post coach firing bump that we sometimes see. What do we do here? Show me where are you at on this conglomerate of Missouri, Vanderbilt, Tennessee? What do you do with those?
Well,
guys?
I don't think Vanderbilt is all that different from Mizzou.
I don't
so it's
either.
hard to put them on a different tier, but
they're
feel like
eligible for the playoff if they win out.
Yeah,
like
I will say if they do win out, they are not a shoo-in. Like that, their 10-2 will be put up against a lot of other teams.
They have some rooting interests.
They do.
For sure.
Some things need to break their way in order for them to get in at 10-2. And obviously, if they don't get there, they're done. But I think they are more likely than Oklahoma and Texas to go 10-2. But it's weird. I think they're less likely to make the playoff because I think Oklahoma could be potentially defeating Alabama this weekend. And if they do, well, then they got Mizzou and LSU, and all they got to do is win both of those games, and they're in. And heck, it would be really interesting to see if even they trip up in one of those games, what the committee still does with them.
Not them, but Texas. I think that's applicable.
Texas has Georgia and A&M left, and they got to win both of those in order to have a chance. If you ask me.
don't know that they do. I think that they'll gain a more impressive win. Like Oklahoma's one chance at a big win is Bama for like a resume booster to get them to climb the ladder. And then they can't trip up in the other games because they would be looked at as lesser losses to unranked teams, Mizzou, LSU. Texas, I don't know which would be better or worse, but if Texas loses one of their games against top 5 opponents and wins the other, like, I don't know for sure that 9-3 Texas isn't in a conversation. They would need chaos. Let me ask you this, though. Where Texas is ranked right now in the CFP is what? Are they 10, 11?
They're 10.
Let's say they lose to Georgia this weekend.
Yeah.
They win. Is it Florida? They already played Florida. Who's their middle game there? They've got 3 left.
I think it's a non-con that's
just a nothing game.
Oh no, it's not. It's Arkansas. Well, nothing.
So
game.
it is a nothing game.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
let me paint you this picture. Texas is 10. They play and lose to Georgia on the road.
On the road.
They lose at number 5 Georgia. They beat Arkansas. They beat them soundly. They beat A&M, otherwise undefeated A&M. Do they rank higher than Vanderbilt at 10-2? Texas at 9-3. Vanderbilt beats Tennessee.
Probably because the committee's going to do the dumb thing and say, "Oh, Texas beat Vandy, so we should play that."
Beat them, and Texas would have a more impressive resume. Vanderbilt hasn't beaten anybody.
Yeah,
their LSU win doesn't age.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's what's going to be. I would say that Texas has a better chance at 9-3 than Oklahoma.
Vandy will have beaten Tennessee. It would be their best win. Yeah, Texas would have a better win potentially, like if they beat A&M there and Oklahoma for sure. Like, yeah,
I don't know
I
the
suppose
answer to it. I don't even
it just
know
hasn't
what's
seemed
correct.
that way based on how Texas has looked in some of their games
I
against
know,
lesser
but
competition.
Let me give you another example for this. We saw Iowa drop 1 spot, and I know they dropped from 20 to 21. That's not the same tier that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But if we see this loss to Georgia, let's say on the road at Georgia, it's close. Maybe it's overtime. Texas drops 2 or 3 spots. Maybe they drop 4. Maybe they're right 1 spot behind Vanderbilt.
Man.
But that could be a really small margin. And let's say that Texas blows out Arkansas. Vandy has to survive their game against, Kentucky or whoever they play. And then it's, okay, Vandy wins at Neyland Stadium against the Tennessee team that may or may not still be ranked, but you go and beat Texas A&M. If the line between Vandy and Texas at that point is slim, and Texas gets that final week knocking off the unbeaten A&M, I don't know what the committee would do. Of course, we have to know, what do the Big 12 teams do? What do the ACC like? It's not just in a vacuum,
right?
But between those two would be so compelling. That I'm kind of rooting for it to happen just to see which one of them gets screwed.
So, again, what do you do? Do you have Vandy in the same tier?
Pull your tiers
All
up.
right,
again,
so mine is because I had all those teams in the
passed the bar.
same tier. Like,
Yeah. Do you need
Billy
to
had
add
a
a tier?
5-team third tier. I will probably be adding one tier, if not two more. But look, in my tier 1, it's A&M Alabama. That's not changing. Tier 2 is Ole Miss and Georgia. That's not changing. The reason why is because A&M and Alabama, I think, are very clearly national title contenders. Like, dangerous in the playoff once they get there. Tier
And
2,
you don't believe it for
like,
Georgia, huh?
it could be, but like those two, that I'm calling that the fight for number 5. Like, they're fighting to be the 5 seed so that they can play the G5 team or the ACC champ or whoever it ends up being there.
Get a good path.
They need a good draw, because if they don't get a good draw, they could be upset in their first round game. Either of those two teams, Ole Miss or Georgia, with the ways that they have been flawed this year. So that's where I delineate there. I will go OU, Texas, and I guess Vandy reluctantly in tier 3. Just because they still have an outside shot at the playoff. I still think it's more likely that either OU or Texas gets in, but not both. Vandy, there's too much crowding in front of them, even if they go 10-2. And I honestly, I don't think they're going 10-2. I think they're losing at Tennessee. So
I hope that happens. I hope they don't trip up before then and they lose at Tennessee, because that would be probably funnier than having to hear about them whine about missing it at 10-2, despite having no real good wins besides Tennessee.
So for that, I'm just putting them in that tier, because it is the tier that is still potentially going to have a playoff. There will be one playoff team out of that 3, potentially, but I could see them all getting shut out too, because I think the SEC will still end up with the top 4.
Okay.
And then Mizzou is in the 4th tier.
Yeah.
With Tennessee. And I can't put anybody else there. I can't. Mississippi State is a feisty team. Same with, LSU is going to get their 6th win, but like those are the teams fighting for bowl eligibility. Like, I would say Mississippi State and LSU should be in the same tier, along with Auburn. That's the tier. LSU is going to be okay. I've talked myself into this. LSU now is in the same tier as Mizzou and Tennessee, tier 4.
Okay, I think that's fair with the way that you have lined this up a little bit.
And again, like the Mississippi State and Auburn have one upset that they need to pull up, and they get to the bowl game. So they're in tier 5 for me.
Okay.
And then Florida's in the next tier. Man, they've been bad. They're just terrible this year. Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky in the same tier, and then Arkansas is in the very bottom tier.
That's crazy, because their offense, Arkansas's offense, is just so good. It's hard to.
I don't care. It's about winning games.
Yeah.
And like, you can say that they have looked better under Bobby Petrino after they got rid of Sam Pittman, and I would agree with you, but it still has not equaled a win, and I think that matters.
Okay. Several close losses, but okay. I might have it different. Show mine on the screen here now, because I got to tidy some things up. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to take away a full tier or not, but as I try to get this lined up, I will go Texas and OU in that 3rd tier alone. Missouri, Tennessee. Yeah, I have to drop Missouri down to Tennessee's tier, and LSU stays with Tennessee. So that's going to be tier 4. Florida, what was their result last week? What did Florida do most recently? They lost. That's right.
Yeah, they lost to
Kentucky. They got popped by
Kentucky. Yeah.
They lost to them badly, 38-7. Yeah. So I think I was right to get Kentucky out of the last tier the last time. Kentucky's feisty, man. I don't really know if I want to. Mississippi State will be in my next tier, in tier 5 for sure, which they were in this same tier. I don't think it was the 5th tier last time, but Arkansas has been really close. Arkansas has been really close. I think Mississippi State might be better than these other teams, though.
They
By
are.
a little bit.
I think so.
Well, Auburn's been really close. I just gotta go on Vice. South Carolina really is down there toward the bottom for me.
Yeah.
And I think in the same category as Arkansas, I'll move Auburn up. These teams all really don't deserve the type of distinction that I'm going to give to them. Let's give Kentucky some recency bias. Kentucky gets to join Mississippi State in Tier 5. Everybody else can just hang out there in the next tier, though. Like, Florida was terrible against Kentucky, but I don't know how much that like any of these teams are capable of having a bad week like that. So I think that's what I do. Mississippi State, Kentucky is Tier 5. Auburn, Florida, Arkansas, South Carolina is my Tier 6, I think. I think I've included everybody at this point.
Okay. So those are our SEC football tiers.
I might be missing one team, but they're down there too. Yeah. Whoever it is. Oh, it's Vanderbilt. I forgot.
Oh, you forgot to put Vanderbilt in?
Yeah, I forgot where to put Vandy. I don't want to put them with Texas and OU. It's like categorically correct, but I don't think they're as good as those teams. But for now, I think I'll do it.
All right.
Tier 3.
Well, tell us your SEC football tiers. Adam saying A&M belongs alone in Tier 1.
There's a case to be made.
Sure. Like, Alabama has washed off the stink completely from that Florida State loss, though. They look excellent. Like, just as excellent as A&M has, if you ask me. So it is close, and close enough to where both of those teams, they'll meet in Atlanta. Like, they should win the games they need to in order to be the teams playing for the SEC championship. And then we'll just see who gets it'll just be bragging rights at that point, because I think you could argue no matter what happens from that game, they should both be in first round bye territory. So we'll see. But 573-875-KTGR if you want to call or text us with your SEC football tiers. Also, tell us what you think is going to happen tonight. Mizzou and Minnesota men's basketball. Who you got? We'll break it down next year on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. You always look for people that will go above and beyond, and that's Eric with Advanced Tree Solutions. He's a licensed arborist, and he'll look at your trees and give a fair and honest assessment about what needs to be done for them. Like if they're hanging over power lines or if they need some pruning done before winter comes around, he's going to go out, do the work himself, and he's also going to give you a fair price on everything. His job is to take care of your trees and to take care of you. So if you live in Columbia, Jefferson City, or Fulton, or the surrounding area, and you've got trees in your backyard or front yard, you should make Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions, LLC, your tree people. They are licensed and insured, and they get their work done in a safe, efficient, and professional manner. Schedule them today for tree pruning during this winter time. Don't put it off. Spots fill up fast. Go to AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend.
Buckeye Buyers Club members get a 5% rebate on every purchase now through the end of the year. That's right, 5% of your entire purchase will be given back to you as a Buckeye gift card on top of your already great deals. All you have to do is use your Buckeye Buyers Club account at checkout. Not a member yet? Join today for free by visiting Buckeyes.com and clicking on the Buyers Club sign-up button. It's easy, it's free, and it's only at Buckeye. Shop online anytime at Buckeyes.com.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Hey, this is Jimmy with Pro Designs, and maybe you've heard, we're the vehicle wrap specialists, but branding your business doesn't stop there. At Pro Designs, we can wrap your walls, windows, even floors.
Go to ProDezigns.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street in I-70.
But better than a billboard. From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tiger Dome. Big O Service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest.
Get our healthy car special for only $39.95 from your Missouri-owned and operated Big O.
Show me state coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
Columbia's best Black Friday gun sale is at Minutemen Defense. November 18th through the 29th, everything except ammo is on sale. Big giveaways November 28th and 29th, including merch, ammo bundles, and Cerakote packages. Don't miss Friday and Saturday specials, plus tiered savings on STAC gear. Shop their website now through Black Friday and use the code RADIO at checkout for a special Black Friday discount on your purchase. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com. Minutemen Defense off I-70 in Rangeline.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Tell us what you think about our SEC football tiers. 573-875-KTGR here on the Big Show with Andy and Brendan. We're leading up, of course, to Mizzou versus Mississippi State this Friday. And be sure to join us for that. And join us for our Tiger Tailgate, our final Tiger Tailgate of the 2025 season. Reason enough to get amped up for the game. Eli Drinkwitz gave you reasons during Tiger Talk yesterday.
Yeah, I got my reasons.
You've got your reasons. You also got reasons to come party beforehand. 4:15 is when our Tiger Tailgate will open up on Saturday before the night game. So the prime location and the prime time to be tailgating during that
and
spot.
Possibly like the prime weather. Is it supposed to be
beautiful?
Gorgeous.
Mid-70s is the high. Like, it's going to be excellent. Like,
I'm stoked. After the last game, I am stoked for weather. The first half was real nice up in the Tiger Deck, Andy. I'll tell you what, halftime as Marching Mizzou is playing, the wind gusts came in. Like, I took my hoodie off. I was t-shirt only in the first half. No pants even. No, I had to.
No, stop.
But I had to get, I was bundled up and still couldn't really brave it in the second half. It was windy up there for sure. So yeah, I'm pumped about some nice weather on Saturday for senior day. Couldn't get better than that.
It'll get a little cooler at night, but as the afternoon plays out, it will be perfect. And when you stop by, you'll get, free food from Dive Bar, drinks from Bud Light, High Noon, Zing Zang, Lucky One Lemonade, Midmo Water Solutions. All you got to do is pick up your free Tiger Tailgate passes. That's the other thing. It's all free.
Didn't even cost you a penny. Not even.
Exactly. They don't even make pennies anymore because you don't need them. For this in particular, all you need is that Tiger Tailgate pass in your hand, show it at the front gate, and you'll be good to go. Go and find out all the places where you can pick up Tiger Tailgate passes at the end of this week here on our KTGR app, also at ktgr.com. Great businesses like Big O Tires, Shangri-La Dispensaries, Break Time over off of Stadium and 63. Plenty of places to go throughout Columbia, Jefferson City, and Fulton, and all of Missouri to pick up Tiger Tailgate passes. Get all the details on the KTGR app. All right, who you got tonight? Mizzou men's hoops plays their first Power 5 opponent of the season. And I actually lied. I said Minnesota was in the 70s in Ken Palm. They're actually number 64 today. Nico Medved, their head coach. And so far, like they've blown out two teams that are ranked 321 and 334 in Ken Palm. So we know nothing about them too.
Nothing.
If we say that we don't know much about Mizzou, I think we're right, but we know nothing about Minnesota.
We know that they're susceptible to teams in that range. I mean, there's a close win.
Not in that
against
range.
One of those,
not even
where's
SEMO is in that range. SEMO is number 217. That is a full 100 spots above everybody that Minnesota's played.
Is that a different in the quadrants, or is it still like?
No, it's still
bottom,
the same.
Still bottom quadrant.
Yeah, still quad four. But still a delineation between the type of teams that you're looking at. For reference, Howard was number 318 and VMI was number 268.
That's actually impressive to me. That I would have guessed VMI just based on the score would have been low, but that's all right. I'll take it for what it is. SEMO was a win away from the tournament last year, if I'm recalling this correctly.
They were in the tournament a couple of years, 3 years ago, like actually got the job done. So
they lost to Southern Illinois, I think it was, in the conference championship game. So they would have been in last year if they'd won that game. So, and that was a close game, if I'm recalling correctly. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much time trumping up SEMO. My other team, SLU, handled SEMO just fine. Mizzou played about as bad of a basketball game as I have seen under Dennis Gates, and they won. And that includes the year that they lost like every game in conference. Like they just did not play well in that SEMO game. Anthony Robinson came out from that experience and I thought really took a step forward on Sunday. And that's the version of Ant they're going to need, because I cannot expect Honor Boateng or Trent Pierce to be showing up anytime soon. Like, I don't know. Dennis Gates does this every year with the injury stuff. I wish he would just tell us what's going on. There might be reasons that he feels he can't do so. He might believe it's a competitive advantage to obfuscate, but it is annoying. I will tell you that. And so I just don't really know when those guys are going to show up. Sean Phillips being back should be a nice boost. I think you're going to need his size against a power conference opponent tonight. But like, Mizzou's favored by 7 points last I checked, so there's an expectation to win this game at home.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you should win it. It would be disappointing if you don't. And that's ultimately what Mizzou, when you talk about the goals that they're striving for and the talent they have and the length they have, they should have the advantage. This is a bit of a longer team that they have dealt with through the first 3 games, obviously, and a team that has shown to be a better rebounding team. Now, again, reading into those stats that Minnesota has had against 2 bottom feeders in D1 is tough to glean from. But Mizzou still with a size advantage, but the gap is smaller as to the types of bodies that they're dealing with down low. And so they do have to be more on point with how they clear rebounds, how they finish at the rim. Mark Mitchell's done an excellent job of that here recently. He's going to have to be big in this game, of course. It is something that does have to be figured out, is like with Sean Phillips out there, and I agree that he should be out there and should be a starter. The question is, how do you like play both Sean Phillips and Mark Mitchell, and how do you get the most out of them offensively when they're both kind of getting their points in a similar way right now?
Yeah, that's fair. I think it then becomes more incumbent upon Mark Mitchell to be comfortable handling the basketball and to do, more of that versatile role than what Phillips would do as the true post. But I think we've seen Mark Mitchell comfortable in a lot of roles and doing a lot of things offensively. So I think that can work, and having those guys on the floor at the same time, I think can be workable, especially when you factor in like who could be along with them and making that happen. By the way, not relevant to tonight necessarily, but Drew King just posted a video of Boateng out on the floor early, getting shots up. So that's proof of life, like that's something that's good. I like to see that. So, but anyway, I think this will be a real test. Like, I know we've kind of got this attitude like, they should win it. 7-point favorite. It is a power conference opponent. It is a huge step up in the competition compared to what we have seen in a real game. Obviously, you played Kansas State in an exhibition game, and that just in the way that we talk about some of these outcomes being difficult to glean, like what a team really is. I think certainly that's how we feel about an exhibition game. But Kansas State, for whatever it's worth to you, is 54th in Ken Pom. So like you would say maybe ranking similarly to the Minnesota team that they're about to play tonight in a game that counts.
And we'll see how both teams treat it for this one. I'm also interested, Mizzou has been excellent from the 3-point line so far. They're close to 42% through their first 3 games. That's awesome. It will level off. Like, they will have games that they don't shoot at an excellent clip. Like, you're trying to get to 40 pretty much every night, but
Yeah, tough way to live, though.
You will fall short of that several times this year. If this is one of those times, how do they then deal with the trade-off of, okay, how else are you getting your points? Like, the free throw issues do need to get better very soon. They got better in the last game. They were putrid during the first two. They got better against VMI. They were making a few more of those shots, particularly Mark Mitchell was. So that's got to keep ticking up. Like, you have to keep getting to the line, keep giving yourself as many chances as possible, but also not letting them go by the wayside, because that's what has propagated this of like Mizzou dropping off in free throw shooting over the last couple of years. It's because they've been getting to the line more, and now they have to keep up a similar type clip going forward to actually make those chances count.
Sure. I don't think that they get there more is a reason that it has declined in their efficiency. Like, anytime you have to do something with more frequency and execute more consistently because it's a volume game, then I guess in theory it becomes difficult. But if you're capable at the skill, you should be able to maintain, I would think, a free throw percentage, even though you're there all the time. But if it's the specific players that have like Mark Mitchell was here last year and he's here this year, it's a big skill for him to get to the line. So if him specifically or Sean Phillips specifically isn't making the free throws, like that ultimately is going to bog down the team's results. So I don't think it's too dissimilar from last year, Andy, where we said, look, free throw percentage as a team matters, but you can still kind of isolate it down to just a couple of guys. Like, I would say if Anthony Robinson shoots however many free throws he's going to shoot this year, his percentage is largely going to be there. He's a good free throw shooter. Mark Mitchell needs to be somebody, I think, that gets closer to where we would consider him a good, consistent free throw shooter, because he's going to live at the line. He did last year. He's going to do it again. And he's athletic enough to where it's not like a lot of times with the bigs, like a Sean Phillips, we look at and say, yeah, we might have to live with a little bit of inconsistency there at the line. It's just, for whatever reason, I can never pretend to have shot a free throw at 7 feet tall. Like, it's just probably tougher to do. But I think Mark Mitchell, there has to be a bit of that expectation for him to be somebody that gets that percentage to tick up a little bit. And like I said, even in the SEMO game where I was dogging on his free throw shooting, he finished in a way that allowed them to make sure they could close out that game. He made some late ones that were key toward the end.
No, like around the rim, he's been finishing very well, among the best in the country so far through the first 3 games. And so that has mattered. He is still getting to the line at a huge clip also.
A ton.
Yeah. And so you do have to bring up that percentage. Right now he's at 57%. Like, you've got to get it to at least 67 where he was last year.
67, 70 would be, I would like to see 70%, but 67, that would be better than what it is. But it's such a small sample so far this year. So I don't there's not a lot of doubt that I have that he'll be able to achieve that. And like you said, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So hopefully that just gets fine-tuned as the year goes along.
All right. So he got prediction.
I have discomfort in my tummy, just because I know this is like the first time that you're going into a game going, you could lose this one, and then it would tell us a little bit more of a story of the type of team we can expect. It's not going to be definitive. Over under 157.5 feels like, you're going to get a game in the high 70s or in the low 80s potentially. I don't think Mizzou covers, but I think we can win this game. So give me Missouri 81, Minnesota 77. I think it's a tight one.
I think Mizzou can get to 90 in this game. I'll say they win 90-81.
All right. That would be sweet. That would be really good offensive production, and, distance yourself before the end of the game to win it by 9. I would be very comfortable with that. I'm looking forward to this game. I can't wait to consume it.
No, it will be very interesting how Mizzou plays in this one. First time they've really been tested, and look, they will have tougher tests coming up, but this is just the first one. Minnesota coming to town, 573-875-KTGR if you want to get your predictions in for it. Coverage will begin for Mizzou, Minnesota at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Stay tuned for that. We'll get some of your calls and texts as we roll along here on The Big Show.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. It was National Signing Day today, the opening of the early signing period across the country for all non-football college sports programs. All of Mizzou's programs very busy today. Dennis Gates landing what 24/7 Sports calls the number 2 recruiting class in the country for 2026. Aiden Chronister, a 4-star guard and forward, and Tony Bryant, a 5-star forward, all signed with Mizzou today. 5-star guard Jason Crow Jr. is set to sign tomorrow for the Tigers. Mizzou men's hoops also plays tonight as they host Minnesota. Tigers looking for a 4-0 start to the season. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Grace Slaughter led the Tigers with 25 points last night. Also, Jordana Reisma with a double-double, 22 points, 15 rebounds, as Mizzou women's basketball defeated Arkansas State 97-75 to move to 3-0 on the season. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Advanced Tree Solutions. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend at AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking mostly clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. We drop down into the upper 30s. Tomorrow is mild, but we'll see more clouds, a high near 66. Friday, we have a great end to our week. We'll see mostly sunny skies and temperatures up to about 74. The warm weather lasts into the weekend with highs in the 70s on Saturday. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Chiefs Kingdom lives here.
This is the Chiefs Kingdom.
Kansas City! Tune in every Monday night at 6 for the Chiefs Kingdom Show, hosted by the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis. Hear from head coach Andy Reid and your favorite Chiefs players all season long. After every game, enter the doors to the Chiefs Kingdom. Monday nights at 6, powered by Macadoodles, Steve's Pest Control, and your total sports station for all things Chiefs. KTGR.
You could be right in the middle of celebrating a big win, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got ants on the counter or mice in the garage. Hi, I'm Mike Kelly. As someone who's called buzzer beaters and game winners for 3 decades, I think the best call that you can make is to Steve's Pest Control. I'm on the road a lot during the season, which is why I've signed up for Steve's 5-star pest control program. It's comforting to know that even when I'm not home, Steve's Pest Control is protecting my house from termites and other pests. Plus, the 5-star program keeps the pests at bay, controlling and eliminating them before they have a chance to enter your home. Scheduling is incredibly easy. You don't even have to be home. And if a pest problem pops up at any time, Steve's will perform a retreat for no additional charge. Call Steve's Pest Control today and ask about their 5-star pest control program so you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
This is Nevada Schauke with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, and I'm the Exterior Director of Sales. In the construction industry, the last few years, we've had a roller coaster ride. One thing that has stayed pretty consistent or common is that vendors have continued to raise prices on materials. We have called up to collaborate with some of our large vendors that we work with to offer some year-end promotions. If you're looking to replace your roof, upgrade your deck to composite, replace your old worn-out windows and doors, give us a call. We also offer several financing options to meet most budgets. Your project must be purchased by the end of the year. This is a unique opportunity to save some money on your next home renovation.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
My name is Nick Rasmussen, and I used Phyllis Nichols to get my life insurance. So I really wanted to get a term policy that would cover us for the next 20 years. For some reason, something happened to me, knowing that my wife was going to be taken care of. Life insurance is a really tricky topic, and working with Phyllis, she talked about all the ins and the outs, what I was getting, why should I do whole life or term, all those different types of products that are out there can be incredibly confusing. Phyllis will sit down and go through all of those with you. I just know that she's always got my best interest at heart, and everybody in town should use her the next time they're getting a quote.
Hi, I'm Rainey. And I'm Leland. And we're with Betts Jewelers. It's almost time for our 13th annual Fall Color Show. Join us on Thursday, November 20th from noon to 7. Come pop a balloon to reveal your prize. You can win your purchase 20% to 40% off. Or for free up to $5,000. Can't wait to see you at Betts Jewelers for our Fall Color Show. Noon to 7, baby. November 20th.
Beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Yeah, I've talked a lot about today and what Eli Drinkwitz said yesterday on Tiger Talk. What do you do with not winning big games, but winning pretty much every game that you should win? Is it playoffs or bust? It just stuff like that. I liked Michael's text that he sent us here not too long ago, 573-875-KTGR. Said, just think if we're in the age of Al Onofrio and we could only beat Blue Bloods and lose to all the other bad teams in the Big 8 and non-conference. He beat a ton of great teams in his years. The kicker, he was 1-6 against KU. Yeah, in that was early 70s, early to mid 70s, right before Warren Powers. That was a stretch where they beat Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and they were all top 5, top 10 teams then. They were excellent teams, but then you can't go 500 in the Big 8 after that. And not to say the Big 8 had bad teams. There was still Oklahoma and Nebraska was great and Colorado, but you still lose the game against Kansas. And this is almost flipped. Eli Drinkwitz is winning all the games he should win. But the ones,
and I think that can be a harder thing, I think, for a fan base to wrap its mind around. When we treat all these games that it feels like you should win as automatic, and then they kind of are in the way that they play out. They're not all blowouts, but if you're winning all those games, it can be easy to kind of take it for granted. Be like, well, you're supposed to win those games. Yeah, but it doesn't always happen that way. It's not. It's easier said than done to win the gimmies. And we're treating we can move the goalposts on that too. We can say, well, South Carolina is a gimme. Look, everybody's beating them this year. Yeah, but it
was not viewed that way at the beginning of the season.
No. And look, most everybody's beating Auburn except for, Kentucky is even, the goalposts can get moved on that because we can look at a team in the moment of a game being played and say, wow, that's a really good win. And then later on, this has happened with Kansas win. It's happened with South Carolina win. You can't control what those teams go on to do the rest of their season. And the reality is in this era, there's parity. A lot of these teams rated, whether it's 6th through 14th in the SEC, are a lot closer bunched together than I think they would be in other eras where the way that teams build rosters now is all pretty much similar. You're hoping to have the money to be able to do it. But yeah, you can't necessarily just not count the fact that you beat the teams you're supposed to beat just about every time, not just about, but every time over this 3-year stretch. That did happen, and it doesn't happen everywhere.
And it's harder to do now because everybody can pay their players.
Right. That's the parity.
Again, if we were talking about Mizzou not winning, let's say they played Kansas every year. Hopefully they do at some point. Generally speaking, Mizzou would still be expected to win that each and every year, but it is less likely for that to happen now because both schools pay their players, and you can nitpick as to say, well, this school's spending more and this bigger conference, they can draw from better area. Everybody can do the same thing now, and it's leveled everything off.
I can promise you this. Kansas is probably saying the same thing about the basketball series, and guess what happened last year? Yep. They didn't win it.
Exactly. So that's it's all been changed a little bit with how we view it. And if you're consistently putting yourself in that position, it was hard to do anyway. And now I think it is even harder because everyone's got the same way to build a great roster in a year and be close to the top.
And that's frustrating for some people, though, too, because they look at Vanderbilt and Indiana and say, well, they're getting over the top. Like, if it can happen there, why not here? We weren't far from being that, I think, within the last 2 years. And it should be brought up. We were in a ranking 3 years ago that would have gotten you into a 12-team playoff. Exactly. Unfortunately, there wasn't one.
It should have been based on some of the reporting that's been coming out from that not too long ago.
Yeah. So that sucks. That you can call that getting Mizzou'd, for those who say, there's a curse here. That's just getting Mizzou'd, man. You had that team and it was just 1 year off from being recognized as such. But it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that wasn't a special season. Now, to be able to sustain it, I think, again, I'm going to continue to point to the NIL stuff and be like, this is the iteration. Yes, do there need to be some adjustments? Like, does Drink maybe need to make a change here and there on the coaching staff to really feel like he is moving this thing forward? Yeah, maybe those will be things that happen if we're talking about his regime for 2026. But like, it does feel disingenuous to pretend that we're not close, because I think we are close here at Mizzou. And the last 3 years have shown that. But you know what? This year's not over. And so if you go 6-6, there will be reason to doubt. There will be reason to go, yeah, they said, but now we started losing to these kind of teams again. So it is important the way you finish. I really do believe that.
Yeah, we'll see how Mizzou does finish. And that will dictate a lot of how momentum continues into next year. It will dictate maybe a little bit of whether Eli Drinkwitz stays, who knows? But lots of intrigue for the final 3 weeks of the college football regular season. Thanks for joining us for it today. We're back at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Tune in to Mizzou men's basketball starting at 6:30 this evening. He's Brendan. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
Hey, Lenny,